Hoi toi, welcome to Transfixed, the channel that is all about positive vibes only, baby. At least it is today, because I decided I wanted to make a video just about this MMC Ocular Max Navigant, which is their Streetwise, because it's just one of my favorite figures. When people come into my house and they see my collection, they often ask me, what is my favorite Transformers figure? And that's a lie, because nobody ever asked me about my hobbies. But if they did, I would probably say, at least in 2024, this one. This one at least stands out for the year because I've just had such a satisfying experience with it. And it's hard to quantify, but I'm going to do my best and just, put some positivity into the channel. In fact, I may do this on a regular basis. I may do like a favorites, Transfixed, Transfavourites. Yes, I'm going to do a regular series once in a while when I get inspired, because this is just a very satisfying figure. This isn't, an ad to go out and buy this figure. I just want to gush about it because it's just so good. I have a lot of masterpiece figures from various companies, not a lot of MMC outside of the combiners, but I've been very satisfied. I really loved all their Bruticus figures, and I really loved all their protectobots so far. He looks great with his brothers here that I have so far. Hotspot's up there on the shelf, but he's too difficult to take down at the moment. He's propped up in combine mode. But I haven't combined these yet, but yeah, they've all been very satisfying, especially because of the all built-in transformation. I mean, he doesn't need to have his foot inside. The foot is in Hotspot. But for this guy, I mean, he's got a hand hidden in here. The feet aren't the best, but a few compromises have to be made. But very satisfied with him. Very satisfied and impressed with Groove. It's hard to do a motorcycle transformer, but I mean, look how nicely this cleans up with the wheel just goes into his body. It's an easy transformation. One of the reasons I like this guy so much, and the other ones, is that they're easy to transform, which is good for a masterpiece, I think, because, I mean, it's personal preference, but I don't like to have to always look up the instructions or memorize the transformation. I like it when it's intuitive. This is very intuitive, and surprisingly so is he. Him not so much, but again, compromises have to be made. And here he is with his G1 counterpart, because he's precious. Haha. Yes, I do need to refer to Emgo's videos to transform a lot of Transformers, but not this one. And look at how their hands tuck in here. They kind of have little grips. This is a very similar transformation. His arms on the MMC are, in fact, they comprise the hood. They make up the sides of the front of the car, and these make up the legs. It makes sense, but at the same time, they have to do some weird trickery sometimes to make it look like the original or like the cartoon. And in this case, they can kind of keep the same overall scheme, and of course make it more complicated. But I mean, even the transformation just has so many intuitive things about it. Like this wouldn't be here on a mainline figure. They would just leave that open. But there's a few pieces here that aren't that hard to figure out. One thing I would not expect is that this goes into the palm of the hand. Normally you fold up the fist, but you have to slide this, well actually sorry, first you have to rotate this, slide this up against the back of the hand, then this goes in here, and the thumb goes this way, and then this actually condenses by swinging this over, and then just tucks into the palm of his hand. That's a great way to condense it and fit into the hood of the car without, having to do anything terribly complicated, I suppose. And then the way this just rotates around, I like the little venting in here. It just clicks into place. Oh, I would do this the wrong way though. I find that very satisfying. Just the plastic itself. I don't think any metal in this figure, other than the screws, of course. It does have rubber tires, but it's all plastic and it's lightweight, but it's very solid. What I love about it is the thickness of the plastic. It's always very sturdy, very thick. Very few pieces have thin plastic walls. The skirts are probably the thinnest part, perhaps the hood, but all of this is just very sturdy, very solid. It's all, I don't know what to call this joint, but there's no ratcheting in it, and I actually am not a fan of ratcheting. I guess there might be a little bit in here, a bit of detents, but because I like to have the full, like every degree of motion here. I especially hate when these joints are ratcheted, because then it's either from here to here. It limits your posability. This, you can just, it's just nice and tense. You can just put it wherever you want. Same with all the other joints. And then the head sculpt is very nice. There's alternate faces. This, he can do that because of transformation. This is very nicely filled in here. The way this comes apart is brilliant. I just can't believe they make this work. It's like they have a hinge at the top of the windshield here. This part is actually a faux piece that tucks under. It's amazing that fits under the windshield without any kind of extra collapsing. It's just one solid piece. Like if this were X-Transbots, it'd be a whole bunch of tiny panels and clear plastic that would have to be flexed and bent. There's no flexing of plastic. Not to knock too much on X-Transbots, they've had some good ones, but a lot of these joints they have like on a screw, which I don't like. This has a few of those in the leg here. There's a few, like you'll see this piece here is, it's on a screw. I don't like it because when you're moving a joint back and forth like this and there's a screw, I feel like you're loosening the screw over time. I don't know if that's the case, but I fear that. It has 1, 2, 3 here like that. You know, they don't feel like there's anything at risk there. This nicely collapses. I don't know, I just feel a bit more, it just feels more sturdy, even though it's the same thing that X-Transbots does. But, you know, and I don't love this part, I guess, if I'm being really picky about how these feet go together, but that's okay. I mean, these actually end up being panels for the combined mode. And these, you know, the bottom of the car here has some paint on it. This nicely covers up the bottom. When it's in car mode, it's fully, you know, it has the bottom of a car, even though it's a combiner. And the way this works is just brilliant. I mean, they've even got windshields on the back windows here and the front, but the way this kind of pulls out and then hinges up, and then that lets you bend this whole joint, just rotate around. I'm not going to transform the whole thing. I actually did that on an earlier version of this video and it just went on way too long, but that's mostly because of my rambling. But the way the taillights are painted is perfect, and yeah, this is just tucks right in here. It's just kind of simple, you know, like there's nothing overly complicated in the engineering, but it works really well, and it's sturdy and solid, and I just love it. It just feels so good. Oh, and the back, what's up here? Yeah, so this part is really good. This is the top of the car. You do have to rotate this around, and then this just double hinges and plugs into the roof. I mean, there's not a lot of fake parts here. This is the windshield of the car. I'm just going to put this back away. That's mass of the car that's also used to just fill this gap here that would be there. There's a bit of a weird thing in here. I thought this was a bit scary at first when I realized you have to sort of take this apart and then put these little arms down into the body of the car. But it's pretty easy. They just fold down. This collapses in. That becomes the hood of the car. Same thing going back. This isn't too thin. It seems sturdy enough, and the way it assembles is quite straightforward. This part, the first time it gave me trouble, I didn't realize I had to rotate, you know, these in while I was rotating it up. It's just a matter of rotating it in the right direction. After the first time, it was completely intuitive and easy. And the way it folds up in the into the torso with all these bits here, it's so slim. There's no kibble on the back. Yes, I know I've left that untransformed, but you get it. It's got a great profile. And again, the whole time I'm praising this, I'm just thinking, this is a combiner. There's usually a lot more compromises because it has, you know, it's basically a triple changer. It has to be in 3 modes. There's weapon storage. Once you get it mostly into car mode, you just drop the pistol into the roof of the car and it just sits in there. It's just one of my favorites, mostly because it's solid, it's intuitive. You know, the thing with X-Transbots, again, I'm sorry I'm ragging on them, but a lot of the transformations feel made up as they go. You know, like they're like, oh, this piece has to fit in here. It doesn't fit. Let's fold down another panel. Let's add another panel. Put another panel. Fold things out of the way. It's not like that. I like it when the mass of the car shifts into the mass of the robot, and there's so much of that going on here. And again, just these buttery smooth joints and the thick plastic is really what makes me love this figure so much. It's just so satisfying. So anyway, I guess you get the idea. That's enough gushing over Navigant here. And he just, no, it's not. It's not enough gushing. More gushing. He just looks cool. He makes him into a cool character. I mean, this is Streetwise. He should be on the streets investigating crimes and mysteries. Maybe that's another reason I like this character. He's kind of like Night Beat, I think. I think that's what his character is. I should actually look that up. I've got plenty of source material for biographies of him. Anyway, that's Mastermind Creations, Ocular Max Navigant. They're third-party, Streetwise, and I highly recommend it. I don't need another Devastator, but now they're making one. I'm tempted. I'm very tempted. Speaking of Devastator, that might give you a clue about my next Transfavourites video. Thanks for watching.